Yeah, hey folks, we're back. We had technical difficulties. Me and Tommy both think it was UFOs or paranormal. They wanted to stop us from talking about this shit, Tommy. I know they did. So Tommy, you know what? Let's get back into it again. So this started happening to you as an adult. As an adult, you said back in like 2011. Tommy, none of this is nothing like this ever happened to me. I seen an orb once. I seen like there's a saloon just outside of Vegas, okay? Like an old Western saloon where they film movies and everything. And I went in there and the one lady told me we have ghosts in our bathroom. And I'm like, what? She goes, here, I'll show you. She took me in the bathroom. It's called the Pioneer Saloon. It's maybe about 10 miles outside of Vegas and it's out in the middle of nowhere. It's all by itself. It's an old Western saloon where there's actually bullet holes in the wall where people were shot because they were playing poker and cheating. I kid you not, Tommy. So she takes me in this bathroom. She turns the lights and she goes, come on, show yourself, show yourself, show yourself. Tommy, I swear to God, she called them and I seen them. I swear to God, these little
Oh
white
wow.
balls started going around in this bathroom and we videotaped it. I have it on video. I mean, she was able to call these orbs. I mean, it was crazy. And I think that's what's going on here. Tommy, I think people are waking up. I think people know something's going on. And you brought up that they touched your organs, okay? That they actually went in and touched your organs. You know, that's what I was going to say last week when we had Steve on about the Travis Walton case. I was going to say this. I was going to say, I think they healed Travis. I think they actually shot him with that beam. They injured him, took him into crap, fixed him, and brought him back in 5 days. And I know that sounds crazy, but that's the first thought I thought to my head. What about you, Tom?
Yeah, I was thinking that myself. I mean, because
Uh
they
huh.
have advanced technology that's been around since eons, and the stuff that you see with medicine or through technology, you don't learn that through Harvard or universities. That was hand given to us. This was like Leonardo da Vinci era when he was missing for 4 days or 4 years. I can't remember. He came back. He was able to do everything on one side identical as the left. He can draw right on his left and right, and he can do music. He was doing some of the stuff that you see on paper, the human anatomy. He was all boom. They given him knowledge. This was going back before Da Vinci, and there's some pictures and murals of saucer disc in these paintings back in you know 8th, 7th century, 6th century. Then you go up until 14th and 1522. So this has been going on since you know
Forever.
before we existed. So I think, yeah, when they zap Travis, they probably say, "Oh shit, we done fucked up on something. We're going to have to fix this old boy and put his ass back together." Unfortunately, that didn't happen to me. I think what they're experimenting because from my research that I kind of reminisce ever since this happened to me, I've learned that we have something they don't. It's compassion, forgiveness, love. We can go from anger to, oh, my bad. They're trying to extract it, but for some reason, over years of evolution, we're still getting it back. We have something that they want, but they can't do it. And some say they want to reproduce, so they're abducting women and use them as incubators. Um, but
Where do you
yet
think they come from? Where do you think they come from?
I believe they're underground because if you look at our civilization, um, some places are being dug up for renovation. There's layers and layers of pre civilizations older than our countries. So there are technologies. I mean, you're familiar with 3D printer, right?
Yes,
If you look
yes.
if you look at these beautiful marble buildings in Rome and some places like the in the era of Tartarism, okay, a human being cannot do that. The way it's so fine crafted, it's basically on what I call a frequency sound. So if you I come across some stuff that where if you put dirt or sand on a vibrating volume and you turn it up and it come up and does a swarm, Well, that's how they make some of these buildings. It just basically from like that model type thing. So none of these things are made from human. Because look at the stuff that we have. Our skyscrapers, they'll look like boxes compared to the old buildings, that you see that's still standing over there in Spain, over parts in France and Europe, and they still
How about
keep
the
their stuff.
pyramids, Tommy? The pyramids too. I mean, it's insane.
Yeah, we have those all over here in our own backyard. It's
Yeah.
covered, it's covered in vegetation. See, it's forbidden knowledge. They're trying to keep us dummied. So now that we are known for the unknown knowledge, now they're gonna have to say, now this government, I'm sure soon is gonna say, well, shit, you know what, guys, all you conspiracies out there, I don't know how you guys figured this shit out, but you did it. Yeah, you ain't no damn dummies.
Right.
And it's a lot of it's common sense too, because you look at stuff and you go, well, wait a minute, you can't make this shit out of stones and chicken bones and chisels. That there's, I mean, you can't,
I
you
agree.
can't.
And I actually saw a documentary on that, how they believe some of these buildings were made. And they said it was from sound. Like you said, sound actually shakes things, and that's how they made it, out of loud sounds. I mean, I saw the same thing you did, Tom. I saw a whole documentary on it, and I studied this stuff. I've been interested in this stuff since I'm a little kid. I think I
Right,
told you guys all the story. I don't know if you ever heard it. My mom saw Bigfoot. I hate to say that, Mom. I love you, and we made fun
right
out of her
on.
all the time. We made fun out of her all the time. I was a little kid when my mom came back and she said she saw Bigfoot on the side of the highway with her friend. She told me Bigfoot was white. But I'm going to tell you this. My mom never talked about Bigfoot, okay? She just came home one day and said, I think I saw Bigfoot, okay? But I think
Right
what
on.
people are, I think, Tommy, this is all related. I really do.
Yes,
I think the Bigfoot's related, the ghosts are related, the aliens are related. This whole paranormal thing is one thing. I really do. That's what I think.
I agree. Our eyes are only being designed to see two-dimensional, I think, what we're seeing now, but there's things that we cannot see it's actually here. That's why they call it spirits. But I look at it, if you're familiar, like the word purgatory. Now,
Yes.
purgatory, the people has not fully crossed over. It's like Stranger Things, the upside down world. They're throwing it in your face. The upside down world is actually exactly what we're experiencing, but it's a whole different color. It's just kind of all jacked up, and people are just roaming around. Now, they're trying to understand things that it's out of their reach. So, with my experience, now I do get every now and then uh, infections when if food can get caught up there or stool. Ever since that incident, I have to watch what I eat pretty much. I can't have seeds, nuts, or this or that, tough meat. I have to eat, I had to rearrange my whole diet. I can't have salad. Salad gets caught up in there because it's narrowing. What I've learned is that each time I get an infection, the intestines, they shrink because of scar tissue.
Right.
And they did say at some point I'm going to have surgery, but one day, hopefully, I don't because I don't want to have to go through all that. But what I did gain from this, your honest is going to say this guy's off his rocker. It's kind of blessing and a curse. They, I think, probably did live something in me because I'm able to sense. My senses are heightened. I
Okay.
could just I can just feel something coming on. When you basically walk in a room, you hear the expression, I can read the room. Well, I could just feel the vibe. I can touch my mom's arm, and for years, she said, I could feel your vibration. And she could feel it through my hands. And then I told her, my frequency is revved. It's revved up. It's just like I can feel everybody's tone before they even start their day. I can read the room. I can almost guarantee you their next movement before they even preempt it. You can just by it's maybe that's because the enclosed environment job that I had, being a guard and you have to be alert 24/7.
Right.
You can't sleep on the job. But I think and what you mentioned and what's great is that people can communicate When I was still working at a facility, I took my kids outside. They're in the preteens. And I said, "You want to see something really wild?" And they go, "Yes, Daddy." And I go, "See that blinking star up there?" And I said, "Watch. Can you understand me?" It went up and down. Am I a threat? It went left to right, meaning no. And so I asked my kids the same thing. And I said, "These are my babies, hands off." And they asked the same thing. And they were blown away and they just looked at me and go, "Is this for real, Dad?" I go, "We're not alone, honey." And I told my boys too, I said, "We're not alone." I said, "But whatever you throw out in the universe, be sure it's positive because it does come back and bite you in the ass." We're these beings, I'm telling you, Danny, um, they could look like you and I. We wouldn't even know it because I think as evolution, as they call it, time goes on, I they can't always look like what some of these military men who came to the forefront and say, "Yeah, we go down in this cave and we saw things. It just looked like Hollywood stuff, and we opened up fire, and they just couldn't go down." And
Right.
there's a lot of stories that you know stuff that you know the internet, as you know, you go down these rabbit holes. You got to be careful. Some of them are not what they seem to be, but
Right.
you get a feel of things and kind of like, oh, this is horse shit. Oh no, they're just talking heads. And like what you're interviewing me with my experience, I'm not reading a teleprompter. I mean, I may have some notes so I can remember, but
Right.
that's just a thing.
Are you familiar with Chris Blitzo's family? Did you ever hear of them?
What was that again?
Are you familiar with Chris Blitzo? I believe that's his last. I know his last name is Blitzo. They live in Sedona. What basically UFOs have been coming to him for 20 years. Okay,
Oh,
he's
okay.
all over. If you Google him, I believe his name's Chris Blitzo. They live in Sedona. His whole family, like his kids, him, these beings have been coming to him for 20 years. He had a near death experience. And after this near death experience, all these beings have been coming to him. People go to his property, just like you said, Tommy, and he calls them in. Just like you said. He says, move, and they move. And this is for real. It is so crazy with him. Our government knows about him and has taken him to the Pentagon and NASA, and they've interviewed him. This guy is in contact with these beings. And I hate to say this, and it's actually giving me goosebumps, but I follow him and his family on TikTok. So I would recommend go following him. He said this
Definitely.
is going to be all showing to us Easter 2026. He's saying this is all going down this year. Beings came to him and told him. I swear to you, he just announced this yesterday that Easter 2026. I don't know, you know?
Well, I'm glad that you mentioned that because um, the Truman Show with Jim Carrey, he's been watched by cameras and all that. A lot of the Starlink that Elon Musk is throwing out there just to monitor actions and things. I think that stuff has been up there way before Elon. Well, his grandfather basically started something of that nature in the late 20s, early 30s. So that's how he was able to get in the White House because Trump knows the history of Elon's family in the technology world. So during Trump's inauguration, you see all those tech geeks up there. Was just he's one to initiate what was started almost 90 something years or 100 years ago. So Elon is taking the forefront with this technology. And I'm thinking is because there's so much going on that people cannot explain, even the government cannot explain. So it's kind of like a person of interest where they can start zapping in and identifying in real time and see if it's a threat, kind of like the Predator thing. And then if it is a threat, Star Wars was in technology during the administration to take down. There's a whole reason why all this is coming out slowly but surely. Everything's starting to puzzle together. Um, it may sound all over the place, but after what I experience and what you experience and people who are watching, some people out there probably, you know what, I've have similar experience, but I'm too afraid to talk about it. It took me this long to talk about it. I mean, this blew my mind. Is like, oh, he's going to have a guest that actually witnessed this craft. And
Right.
so it's like, you know what? This is so cool. And then when you invited me before I even knew about your guest, I just had to throw that out there. So you know what? I'm lucky, fortunate enough. It was just came back the same night because I'm thinking there's portals, and we all know the world knows that there's holes everywhere. There's undergrounds everywhere, and there's access in and out. I'm thinking they just know how to take a shortcut, like Einstein said. They just folded time, and they can just go from A to B within a New York minute. Now they got stuff underground in modern times. They go from here to Brazil in 45 minutes. So
And
we don't have the access to it, but the club that we don't belong to and the elites, when shit hits the fan, they have access to it. But we're going to be on the surface. So over there in the Grand Canyon, and you're looking around parts that you cannot go in. What are they hiding? We know what they're hiding. It's our history. Civilization's been here a lot longer than what history has been telling us. And now, like I mentioned earlier, forbidden knowledge is now knowledge. And with technology, I think that dry spell that you had with TikTok, and brother, you made it known. And I think you weren't alone, but they're renegotiating now that they have it in their grasp. I'm thinking to a certain extent, they're starting to do what Obama did from 2013. They're starting to censor a little bit here and there, ghost your stuff, delay it, and may not show it. So I'm thinking with folks like us who's experienced stuff like this and now coming out, they're like, okay, these guys, you know, no, I actually have to live with this until if I have to get it correct. But I'm kind of like watch being real careful about it. But it's
right.
fascinating. I agree that things will start coming out because the president's been debriefed. He said on talk shows live, he's not too sure about it, but he knows. Well, you know, uh, he's waiting. He's waiting for the right time.
And Tommy, you know what I want to say? I don't know. Do you have Apple TV at all?
Apple TV.
Yeah. There's
Yeah,
this. Well,
I have it on my laptop. Apple.
there,
Yeah.
there is a show called Silo on there. Okay. And let me explain Silo to everybody because I think that's what we're living in. They all live in a
Yes.
silo and they tell them if they leave this silo, they're all going to die. And this went on for years and years and years. These people were born into a lie that they couldn't go outside and they all had to live in this silo. And Tommy, I believe a lot of these movies are telling us the truth because I think we don't know what the fuck is going on here. Do I believe that moon landing happened? Absolutely not. I don't believe we went to no fucking moon. I don't believe any of that shit. I don't.
I
But you know what?
I agree
Whenever
with
they,
you.
I mean, seriously, like, do you think that President Nixon was on a phone talking to astronauts on the moon? If you think that happened, you're fucking nuts. There's no way that fucking happened. Okay?
Yeah.
We are living in a world that what they told us it is. We only know what they told us, Tommy. Okay? And what they told us was, yeah, we're here for so many years, but we don't fucking know what really this is. We don't know what we are. We don't know what this is.
I agree with you. Everything what you just said. I don't think that little knockoff looking thing that even made orbit because you can't pass the Orion Belt. That's radiation. Just like the movie Total Recall when Arnold Schwarzenegger and the hot chick landed outside of Mars and they started going. "Rah, rah." That's what's going to happen to the astronaut. You can't. Uh, the German guy that they let over here, Van Braun, on his
Uh,
tombstone, he put a biblical scripture on there. It just says the firmament. Basically, we are in the dome, but we're not the only ones here. Um, They said, "How big is this dome then?" Well, if you look at some of the structures around our land, um, this is getting deep. A lot of it is what you call those. They're bones. They've just been here for years. They just look like rocks. Some of the like the Devil's Mountain, Devil's Rock, that's actually a tree. I think you probably know that, and most of your viewers know it. This is the thing I'm talking about. That common sense is kicking in. People are starting to wake up from their past previous life. They go, "What do you mean? Are you reincarnated?" I go, "Well, I have to think that our ancestors handpicked us because there's a reason why we're here because we're not tolerating the bullshit." Roseanne Barr did say 2 months ago on her podcast, she says, "The shit that I know, if I would have told you guys, you would lose your fucking mind." I'm thinking, you know what, woman? You and the rest of your colleagues knew about all this stuff. Only you got handpicked to certain things. And so I'm thinking they got heads up. So they're just like cookie crumbing you for views or slowly wanting to turn the tide and say, okay, I'm on your side. I'm one of you. But really, at the end of the day, Danny, we just got ourselves. And I don't want to get off the subject on this. We can go on for on. But I like to point out is that America's in a turmoil. Shit's kicking off everywhere. They want a civil war, but the American people are seeing right through the veil. They want another, like the incident in Minnesota. I hate to see that happen, not just to hurt, but anybody. They want another George Floyd, but a white version. We can't have that. And the people see right through that. All colors or walk of life, seeing right through the veil and say, you know what? Number one, like you mentioned earlier in your video, it's the Democrats and the rhinos are throwing shit out there for weak-minded people are just they don't lead, they follow. They need to break away from that, start doing their own research searches, stop being spoon-fed by these crazy it's on TV. Best thing for anybody to do is turn that shit off. Turn that TV on because that's what all it is. That media on TV is propaganda, just getting people all riled up. Then you got these copycat killers and stuff. So what happened is that I did some research on that woman. I had my scribbles over here. Um, they're making it sound like she's poor. Oh, poor her. Her kids are, taken away. This and that. Well, yeah, she's with a woman that beats on kids and uses the
With
kids on.
cigarettes.
Yes.
Yes.
It's just like,
Tommy,
hello?
it, the Democrats always have heroes that are fucking criminals. Always. They put fucking statues up of them. Tommy, do you remember the incident, hands up, don't shoot? Remember that incident where hands up, don't shoot? That is a proven fact that never fucking happened. It's a proven fact. But yet they put a fucking statue up on a guy with the hands up, don't shoot. Well, we fucking know it's a proven fact it didn't happen. And that's what makes me never will I vote for a Democrat because they tell so many lies, Tommy, but they tell the lies because their audience listens. They listen. It's shocking. It's so
It
shocking.
is. I'm I never wanted to voted in my whole life. I didn't vote until Obama ran. I was 30 something years old. Okay. I told myself, a young boy, I said, these people are fucking nuts. You know, in junior high, they said, what do you want to be? Well, if you're a president, what would you do? What would I do? Lord have mercy. I would not, I would not be just loyal to my countrymen. America is first, by all means. After what they did to Reagan, I was like, you know what? I want to be one of those guys to protect a president. I want to be in the secret services, you know, because I was already athletic. Did all sports. I was in weightlifting. I did dirt track racing. So if shit hits the fan, I know how to maneuver a vehicle. we'll get your ass out of there in a heartbeat, you know? And so, um, yeah, I don't like the fact that this is happening to our country. 2026 supposed to be a turn leaf. We're going to start fresh. Let's go in with a good new year because Trump is doing well with the tariffs. He's bringing back the 1853 tariff that made this country rich. So we, you and I, and your viewers don't have to worry about taxes anymore or paying property taxes. You're paying property tax off the home you just paid for. You're renting it. Why? You don't need to pay $1,300, $1,400 for a place that you already, bought
God.
with your hard-earned money.
I agree, and people aren't seeing it, Tommy. I just don't get it. Like I see the listen, and I get it. He's an arrogant guy. Okay, you're not going to change that, and people don't like that about him. But you know what? He's doing good things, so you have to overlook that. You got to say to yourself, "Yeah, he's arrogant, but maybe that's what this country needs. Maybe that's what we need to get this country back in track." And it's happening. Do you know? Like there's like 40 states now where gas is under $3. Okay, 40 states. Wait, my God, Biden had us in almost $5 a gallon. I mean, what
Yeah.
the fuck? I don't know why people get mad. I really don't. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's you. You need more than 4 years to actually get anything accomplished. What he's done in a short period, I agree. But there's some things I disagree with the guy. I'm an independent conservative. I'm not a Republican nor a Democrat. I go with what's aligned with my core beliefs.
I
And
just,
if you're rocking and rolling with my beliefs, okay, we're going to get along just great. But we can always agree to disagree and still shake hands. This country has gone away from that shit. Like you mentioned early in your videos, you lose loved ones, family, friends, your closest best friends because you have a different opinion. And feelings are more important than facts. Remember that in 2015? Oh, everybody's mind's gone because their feelings were hurt. And I like, it's been 2015 ever since lockdown of 2019.
right.
It's just like nuts. So, you know, with this back to that Minnesota thing, uh, it spun off to this is crazy. It's just like everybody says the world is the stage. I'm thinking cut two, cut three, cut four. You're getting a little different here, a little bit this and that. Podcasters like yourself are the real journalists because you can't get real shit, real facts on TV because they are tied to a corporation that can only let you say what they want you to say. If you go off script, you're out of there. You get your pay cut, or you're just terminated. They want the narrative, and it's a propaganda on and on. Give you that there are some people that can break away and get reeled back in, but if you can't ask the tough questions, align yourself with the real hard blue collar working Americans who want to make this place a better place. At the end of the day, we all have to I think after this Minnesota shooting, you got all colors of life saying this is horseshit. Yeah, we disagree what had happened to her, but hey, they're all law enforcement agency has a procedure and technique, like you mentioned earlier, that they're the best of the best. They're good at what they do, and if you try to outmaneuver, you're fucked because they got an edge on you. What I saw, and I did some more digging, is that you know um, there's some things I agree, some things I disagree. But what I disagree is she got herself all caught up in her woman's ideology and the Democrats and the rhinos. She's a professional protester. These people are hired to go out and antagonize. If you see a professional sign, son, let me tell you what, that's bought and paid for by somebody in their deep pocket. Because if there's real protesting, you have cardboards with freaking scribbly cartoon signatures out there, not just professional and made stuff.
Tommy,
I hate. Yeah,
Tommy, I hate to say this. You were totally right. I just watched the video before I came on. This one guy filmed the same guy in Oregon, in Seattle, okay, in Washington, D.C. He's a professional guy. They had him at different places. The Democrats are paying these people. I don't know if it's the Democrats, but it's the insiders paying these people to destroy our fucking country. And these Democrat liberals are like buying up. They're eating it up. They believe every fucking thing these people tell them. I'm sorry for this nation that it has been brainwashed by the media. And one other thing, Tommy, you said people more listen to podcasters and social media than our. And I'm going to tell you what, when I had Steve on last week, Steve said this to me. He goes, "Could I say whatever I want?" And I said, "Yeah, of course. Why?" He goes, "Because I've been on other places where they told me I can't say whatever I want." And I said, "On my podcast, you can say whatever the fuck you want." So yes, Tommy, when you go on these different networks, they tell you not to do this. And I'm going to tell you this: about 4 years ago, when the Democrats were in power, I was going to get a reality show. Okay, I actually filmed an episode for a reality show that they were going to get me. You know, Tommy, they told me to delete all my political videos because they wouldn't have gave me the show because of my political being a Republican. So I almost lost the show. The show didn't go anyway, okay? But I almost lost the show and the job because they didn't like my politics. I swear to you, they made me delete stuff off my social media, these film companies. I kid you not. It's
You know,
crazy.
I'm sorry to cut you off. You're
That's
totally
right.
right. What you do in a booth behind closed curtains, that's your business, not the person outside. What you want to know what you want on your ballot? That's your privilege, your choice, and they
Right.
cannot hold that against you. Now they're screening people on jobs. If you submit an application, they'll look at your social media, see what you said, who you voted for. And it's like, no, 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 no. That's why you see a lot of people unemployed and stuff. And it's because, like you said, they don't want none of that. Look, screw your feeling. Facts is facts at the end
Yeah.
of the day. Period.
And
You know,
Tommy,
so yeah, go
one
ahead.
last thing. One last thing I want to go over. We'll stay on for 2 more minutes because I got something to do this afternoon. But I want to ask you this. Could you imagine being a business owner? Think about this. You're a business owner and you have to hire employees. I hate to say this, but as a business owner, there's no way I'm hiring a liberal person. You are putting yourself up there to be sued. They're not going to like the way you treated them. They're not going to show up for work. They're going to want long lunch breaks. They're going to say you are setting yourself up for a lawsuit if you hire these liberals. I'm sorry, as a businessman, I would never fucking hire a liberal ever. You put pronouns on your application, I throw it right in the phone. I mean, seriously, you're setting yourself up to be sued by these people. Who the fuck would employ these people? I'm being honest. Let's be honest here. And I'm sure the business people in the back of their mind are thinking the same thing I am. They're thinking, this person's going to sue me. I'm not going to fucking hire them. There's no way. You
Yeah,
know?
you know what? You hit the nail right on the head. It's sad, but that's how the world it works. You're right. As a business owner, person, male or female, you don't want liability because that will put a stench on your name, your brand. You don't want that. You can't please everybody. All I would like to see in the future, keep your politics at the front door. You and I can have a beer, shoot the shit, wherever it is. But that's a lot of things people hate. Don't talk about politics. Don't talk about religion. You know, and it's like
Yeah.
we're good to go. And it's like we understand that, but I want to say, Danny, thank you for having me co-hosting on your show. I had a
Yeah.
lot of fun. I like what you did to the place. It looks great.
Hey, Tommy, listen, I want to have you back. What I'm going to do is in the future, like in the near future, I'm going to start a paranormal channel too, where I'm just going to talk about ghosts, at least once a week. So I'm going to start another channel on here and I'll invite you on anytime you want. You can come on my daily show anytime you want. Thanks for coming on, Tommy. And I'm sure you'll be back very soon.
Oh yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see everybody tomorrow.
All right, bye.